Oh yeah. Now we got some good news a few months ago. I know I've been waiting for about 3, maybe 4 years on Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. What is your thoughts on why the fight took so long to get made?
Well, it's a lot involved. Ego, always number one. Money, the split. Because when you have two undefeated world champions, as those gentlemen are, you're gonna have an A side and a B side regardless. You can't have two A sides, okay? And that determines the split. So you may look at 60-40, some be 70-30, but I think theirs is 50-50. I'm not for sure how the agreement affords the purse. But also timing. People waited for Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather to take place. It took so long, but when the timing was right, people wasn't completely satisfied how the fight went. But I mean, a lot of money was made, and
Oh yeah.
so the timing is the build up for it, you know. Um, Talking about, hey, what weight class, who's gonna be the B side. Like I said, most importantly, it's all about the money. That's top first and foremost, okay? But at the same time, what some fighters do, they wait too long. Um, and when they start getting past their prime, people lose interest, And so um, the fight, actually, they said clear that the fight was going to sell itself. So they really have not been out there doing a lot of trash talking. I know I read a couple of days ago they did a flip of the coin to determine who walk out first and who walk out second. So you see how in depth it gets, you know what I mean? Because you got two A-side fighters and nobody wants to be the B side, you know. But it's going to be a good fight. I'm happy. I'm glad that it's happening. They both very talented fighters, and so this is definitely good for boxing.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you about the timing because you know with me being a real fan of boxing and not just a looking out for the big names like when like Errol Spence, he was in my opinion, like he's always been a good fighter, but he wasn't. Yes, it wasn't worth. It seemed like it wasn't worth the bigger fighters like the Keith Thurmans and um, the Floyd Mayweathers, even before that, to really take a chance on fighting Spence because they saw the potential, but he didn't have that fan backing. So I think now, the shoe's kind of on the other foot because I think Errol Spence not necessarily better. I think he is the bigger name between the two. And I give a lot of credit to his promotional team, his company that kind of put him like nobody in that Floyd or Pacquiao bracket as far as name recognition. But as far as the true boxers right now, I believe he is definitely probably one of the biggest names, up there with Tank and Ryan Garcia. But
Right.
speaking of Spence, what does he need to do to come out victorious?
Well, one of the things that people don't always speak on when it comes to Bud, Bud know how to fight both ways. So he can fight orthodox and southpaw, and he can switch quick, and he's strong in either hand. Okay, his IQ is real good. Okay, so Spence, what he's going to have to do, he's going to have to stay away from the power. So if Bud is orthodox, he needs to move right to stay away from the right. And if he's southpaw, he needs to move left to stay away from the left. He got to kind of cut the fight in half and take one side away from him, the power side away from him. His IQ, that's one thing that I like about both of them. That's why I like this fight. And that's what people don't speak on. Their boxing IQ. Their boxing IQ is phenomenal. You know, people are always talking about fighters being in shape and this, that, and the other. People don't never speak on the boxing IQ but it's more than boxing just throwing hands. It's really a chess match, not chess. It's chess. And so Spence is going to have to know when to fight and when not to fight. Because Bud boxing IQ will lure you in that Spence can possibly run into something big. You see what I'm saying? And so he got to know when to box, when to fight, and when not to fight. And then maybe he come out victorious.
Okay. Yeah, see, I've never heard, like, I looked at a lot of interviews, over the last month or so about people breaking down the fight, but I never heard anyone mention how, like, everybody say Bud, can switch stances, and he's, very athletic and fast, and has quick, I guess, twitch muscles, if I'm saying it correctly. But nobody mentioned how Spence needs to also be alert and moving, to, like you said, to counter the power on the opposite hand. Now, speaking of power, who has more power, do you believe? Because I know everybody keep reverting back to how Bud came up and Spencer's a natural welterweight, but I don't remember the last time Spence knocked someone out. I mean, Bud, he's on his last couple fights then ended in KO. So, who's really more powerful? I really don't know.
Now, Kell Brooks fought both of them. Kell Brooks actually picked Spence Crawford over Spence. I think Bud is a slight stronger fighter. Okay. I think Spence probably got a little edge on the boxing IQ, but not by much. You see what I'm saying? So you're really going to watch a chess fight. It's going to be a chess match. If they don't get sucked into crowd pleasing, but that's where a lot of fighters get messed up. Win the fight. Don't please the crowd. You see what I'm saying? They don't get sucked into trying to please the crowd but put on a good fight. It can really, go either way. I really look forward to be such a chess match. They probably end up being a draw. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Because I think that these rounds are going to be so close. Some rounds are going to be given. Some rounds are going to be taken. Okay? But if that answer your question, I think Bud is the stronger fighter. And what makes, because you don't understand, Bud actually shattered Kell Brooks' eye socket. And so, that's, he's a strong guy. He's a special fighter. I mean, I have to give it to him, and a lot of people, he fought Gamboa. A lot of people didn't give him a chance, but I've been hearing about Terrence Crawford way when he was an amateur. And I knew that he was going to beat Gamboa. Yeah. But they didn't give Terrence Crawford a chance.
Oh yeah. Because when they fought, Gamboa was a big name. Like he was a. Oh yeah. I remember. A lot of people were backing Gamboa. Now as far as defense, like Bud, I think from what I see, it seemed like he get. I'm not gonna say lax on his defense, but it seemed like he's so offensive minded that he don't need to play great defense. Like, because he can hit you with either hand, move either way. But it seemed like Errol Spence, on the other hand, like when he's not throwing, Like he has that high guard up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how does Bud get around that to really affect him? Because you know that that's part of the chess match right there, like timing and. But do you see Bud being able to crack that defense and really and kind of expose Spence like nobody else did?
Yes, it can, and it's gonna have to come when Spence throw punches. Bud gonna have to. That's when he gonna have to counter. You see what I'm saying? Split that guard, work that body, and most importantly, stay off the line. Kind of keep Spence turning. Um, Spence to me do have the better defense, defensively. Um, and Bud got to be careful too, because as I tell my students that it's not the punch you see that kid that knocks you, it's the punch you don't see. It's usually when you're throwing something and they counter you and they throw something back. Your brain did not calculate it that this punch is coming. You see what I'm saying? And so when they counter you and you get hit with something back and you get countered, then that's when it could be lights out. You hear that bell ringing, the referee, the fight is over with. You thinking what happened, So, but like I said, Spence got a good defense. I think if Bud does that, it can make it little openings. It's not going to be an easy fight for either one of them.
No,
I mean, if any of them get caught early, anything can happen in boxing. I admit that. But if any of them get caught early, it would really surprise me because they're boxing IQ, and they got heck of a chance, so anything can happen.
Now,
Spence is just the bigger fighter. If you looked at the weigh-in, he's the bigger guy,
Now, yeah. Before I get to my next question, you mentioned the weigh-in. I was just noticing. I was looking at the images of both fighters after the weight shed. It seems like this time around, it seems like Spence, like he lost. It looks like he lost a lot more weight. I guess because like seeing him during the interviews before and then now, like a week before the fight, or however many days before the fight, it seemed like he lost a lot more weight. But I know he's been at welterweight his entire career. Does that give either fighter an advantage over the weight drain, or is it just
well,
just whoever wins on the night of the fight?
Well, weight is always an issue, but you want to lose that weight earlier than later. So you don't want to be 2 days before weigh-in still trying to cut weight. Most of these fights now, especially big fights like that, they have what's called a hydration clause. And a lot of times, and I've been through this with my pro fighters, they weigh you the day before and then they weigh you the morning of. So if the contract weight is 135 plus 1, then you have to be at 135 or under. But then sometimes they'll say, okay, because they know fighters have to eat the morning of, you can't be over 136. Understand, when you don't make that weight, there's a lot of time a clause. I've known fighters to get paid $300,000-$400,000, $100,000 per pound. Some weight. Yes.
Wow.
And so those big fights, they have those high days, which I think is a good clause to have, because it's not ultimately fair when you coming in and just say 155 the day before, and then you got some of these guys that going in the hotel room, put IBs in them, blowing themselves up, and then now they coming into the fight the day of 165, 170. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
And so, hydrating yourself 20 pounds overnight is ridiculous, but there's ways to do that. So I'm for a hydration clause, period. Especially when you're dealing with these big fights like that, you need a hydration clause. Just like we have a rematch clause, you need that hydration clause.
Yeah, I know the hydration clause. It was they were talking about it on social media with the fight that happened a few months ago with Tank and Ryan Garcia. Everybody kept saying Tank added the hydration clause, but I never heard it broken down like you just said when that they're injecting IVs to, to bring their self back, I guess, to the more their natural size. Um, do you think that hydration clause had any effect on Tank beating Ryan Garcia?
No, I mean, not at all. I mean, because Ryan got hit with a nice body shot. Um, Ryan is a good fighter. He has some speed and whatnot, but Tank is mentally, physically strong. He has good boxing IQ, and that's what it is. Now, I think Garcia done fought in that weight class before. He just got caught with a shot. That's it. But of course, when you as lanky as Ryan is, then sometimes you don't have as much fat around the ribs and muscle. You see what I'm saying? And so it's one of those things that I just think it just happened. I'm happy for both of them because last I checked, it was a split 50-50 purse, and they got about what 63 million apiece. Hey,
wow.
So,
oh yeah.
Hey, I mean, who's gonna frown at that? You know what I
mean? Oh yeah. Well, like that fight, like I watched it. I was interested. I was pretty sure that the Tank was going to win unless some fluke, Ryan Garcia catch him or something. But it's other fighters that we want to see Tank fight, and Tank has mentioned retirement.
Right.
Do you think he fights? Say Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez. Does he fight these guys? Because everybody keeps saying face of boxing, he probably can sell out anywhere. But as far as legacy, do you think he takes the challenge, to beat the undefeated Devin Haney or the up and coming Shakur? Do these fights even get made, especially when we want to see him and not, like he's mentioned before, when they pass their prime?
Yeah, well, it's always about the money, and so long as the money is right, they'll take a chance, and a lot of times fighters will do it. It's legacy as well, but when you're a good fighter, your legacy can stay put, but also, when you're on the way out, you want to get the biggest paydays possible. You know what I mean? And listening to Tank, I think he have a passion of trying to help other people, other kind of fighters behind him. So, you want that. He's with Mayweather promotion, and I don't know how that relationship gonna pan out in the future, but if the money's right, yeah, definitely. I don't think Teofimo Lopez, and he's a good fighter. Last fight, he kind of talked about he's gonna retire, he's going through marital problems and stuff, and I don't think that he would probably be a good draw card for Tank, because how the fighter, A-side fighter look at is, okay, my name can sell, but can this guy I'm fighting help my name sell more? Can it help this fight sell more? So it's all about who the people want to see fight. You see what I'm saying? I like Pitbull Cruz. They fought one time before. It was a good fight. I think Pitbull Cruz, Tank just turning him a lot. Most Spanish fighters are straightforward, particularly Mexican fighters. They straightforward like bulls. But I think Pitbull, that's probably the fight that's probably going to take place again. You're probably going to see a rematch between Tank Davis and Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and which the first fight was a good fight. But I think Pitbull is going to be more of cutting the ring off and not getting turned as much. Because Pitbull he's what he is. He's a Pitbull. He's coming at you.
Oh yeah. Now, something else I wanted to get into. I'm gonna jump on it now. Now you mentioned Teofimo Lopez dealing, coming out speaking about retirement and dealing with all his issues. Now I know him and his father, seem like they go back and forth during fights sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see and then you had the opposite with what's his name from Ohio? I can't think of his name. The one from Ohio, Sean Porter.
Yeah.
Him and his dad, Kenny Porter, in the corner together. Is that good for boxing, or does it depend on each situation?
Well,
Like having a father-son duo.
well, I mean, it's good. We seen the good, the bad, the ugly with Floyd Senior and Floyd Mayweather Jr. All right, we've seen that. I remember seeing on Showtime or HBO, one of them, where Floyd cussed his dad out in the gym. You know what I mean? But they mended their relationship afterwards. One thing about Floyd, he always kept the people that he started with, they continue to stay with him. You see what I'm saying? LB, Roger Mayweather, uh, Senior Mayweather, Jeff Mayweather. I mean, he's really a family oriented person. That's one thing I give him props for. And he's loyal to people who's loyal to him. Okay. Um, we've seen, with Sean Porter. I'm sure Sean Porter and Kenny Porter, they probably have some bucks to the head too. You've seen the trainer of Danny Garcia and his father. I think it's a good thing. The thing about it, what I experienced with some of these fathers that want to be involved, they don't know how to keep their emotions out of it.
Okay.
Because that's my son. Sometimes they could be overbearing on their son, and it ruins their relationship outside the ring completely. I know
Hmm.
of a father-son duo, and I know you know them too, but I'm not gonna mention their name. I have a great deal of respect for them, but that relationship could be ruined. I mean, completely. And then you have them where they know, okay, this is boxing, but now we're father and son. You know what I mean? And so sometimes with the dads, they want their son to do so good that they can be overbearing. And then sometimes they can be too overly protective because they can't deal with the fact that their son getting caught like that. And sometimes they kind of like jump in too quickly, as they wouldn't, in the same sense, they wouldn't do for another fighter who they don't really have no ties to in that way. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about, I think anytime a father could do something with his son, that he's teaching them a craft and maybe showing him something where he can make a living for himself and still have that father love and protection, but knows the limits of it, it's always a good thing, because I've seen it where, like fighters that retired when their dad retired. Like when dad says it's time to walk away, the fighter listen and say, I'm walking away. Because if my dad can't be in my corner, nobody will. And sometimes the dads there could say, listen, son, you've done enough. You have nothing to prove. You have plenty of money. Let's walk away with our wits. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
son, listen to that, because they like, if my dad is not there, I can't be there. You know.
Mm-hmm. Now, this fighter, the last fighter I got in mind, really the last question. It's like a two-part question. Big Baby Davis, the undefeated heavyweight prospect.
Mm-hmm.
I seen a video recently before his last fight. I wanted to talk to you about, but he was talking with Roy Jones,
Mm-hmm.
and he was very emotional. I guess almost to the point of crying, saying, um, like the pressures that he's dealing with. I guess with the expectancy of being the next great American heavyweight. Um, do you believe that Well, the first question is there anything wrong with a fighter who expresses that publicly about the anxieties of living up to expectations? And second, do you think he's capable of winning a world heavyweight title anytime soon?
Well, the first question, to answer your first question, I think, what people don't know about boxers, we are the most emotional creatures on earth, man. We will cry so easy. I'm telling you. I mean, we are very emotional creatures, and people get us mixed up like, we just these rough, tough killers. But what they don't understand, because you look at Mike Tyson, man, you hear the rattle in his voice, even when he was fighting, and he was brutal, but his hurt, and we don't mind as boxers to express how we feel. People put this like we just these monsters. You see what I'm saying? That we don't have feelings, but I think it's a good thing because what he's doing, he's showing the young lions of what's out there. See, we're in a right now society. Everybody wants things right now. People don't see the hard work that's behind that. You see what I'm saying? And anything worth having gonna take time and sacrifice. Period. And I'm sure that he's going through a lot of dealing with the training, then the people pulling at you. When people see you on TV, they automatically think you're a millionaire. You know what I mean? And you still eating bologna sandwiches. So you got all, and then like I tell my fighters, my boxers, when the time comes, it's gonna be some of your own relatives, family members, that's gonna really start to flip on you, because they gonna really they did not contribute nothing towards your hard work and your success, but they gonna feel like they're entitled to something. You know what I mean? And so I'm sure he's dealing with all of that. Promoters, then you got these old snakes, these gym sharks, I call them, that come and like, hey man, we can promise you this and we can do that and this. You got all this undermined business, because the boxing industry is a lot like the music industry. A lot of backstabbing, conniving, lying, untruth, suing, a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Oscar De La Hoya just had to sue Danny Garcia. I mean, not Danny Garcia, Ryan Garcia, but not paying him his money. And so it's boxing, that business that you could really turn a good relationship bad, because money changes people. And so that's why promoters and trainers and managers, myself included, we don't, on the pro side, we don't do nothing without contracts. Because you have to put that paperwork in place to make sure that you're protected. Now, the second part of that question, do I see him becoming a potential heavyweight champion in the future? He's a good fighter. He has a lot of flaws. I don't think his chin has been tested yet. Sometime I've seen one fight, he did KO the guy. He got a little too wild, and that's when you could get caught. And the heavyweight division is of hitters. You see what I'm saying? And when you're talking about these, it's heavyweights out there that people have never heard of, that's in foreign countries, bro. And they're waiting for their opportunity to go in the ring and show what they got. You see what I'm saying? So I think really right now to start talking about future heavyweight champion, that's too early. It's too early in the topic, too early in the conversation. So we just kind of have to see how the test, how do he respond to when he go into deep water, and he's never been in that deep water before, and he with those sharks. How would he respond then? Because a swimmer can swim and be an excellent swimmer and be in 6 feet water and they comfortable. But then when they out there in the deep blue ocean, Gulf of Mexico, and great whites out there, they good. Do they panic or do they stay and they
Yeah.
come, they know him? And so what happens when he get caught with a big shot? What happens if he get knocked down or anything like that? How do he respond then? Or when he get his bail wrong? Or what happens if he get his first loss? So it's so much out there that I think now it's a little premature to start talking about heavyweight champion of the world talk. Because a lot of these guys, that's why I don't keep up with all their names. They here today, gone tomorrow, bro. They have that one big loss, or they get that one knockout against them, and they not the same no more.